sadly, this is the season finale of Frieren Season 2. But in the end, is really just a start of a new beginning. Like a 3,000 meter drop to your death! This is one of those finales where they had leftover budget and had to adapt a transitional part of the manga until we get Macht of the Golden Land. We had amazing animation like we did all season for side quests, where it was just a blur in the manga, but the anime chose to give the doggy monster a handful of angry Fern from very far away. Like in prior episodes, if there is anything we want to see extended, it is the action, which had two separate scenes of yeeting, some angry birds, and an ugly monster canine. Some of the visuals in the manga, where the scenery is a bit more plain, the anime opted for the setting to be a bit more vibrant, and delivered a more humorous moment, like between the degenerate Gat for Magic and Angry Fern. There were some visual omissions from the manga that I think the anime decided to pass on to save time and money, because people prefer more pew-pews. And, oh yeah, spoiler warning, I covered these anime episodes from an up-to-date manga perspective, so I may make some references to future happenings. But stay anyways, because you can't help yourself. This episode of Frieren, Season 2, Episode 10, or Episode 38 overall, Utsukushi Koke, covers the end of Chapter 77, A Thunder of Dragons, Chapter 79, The Great Tour Canyon, and Chapter 80, Holy Snow Crystals. It is still 30 years after the death of Himmel the Hero in the Northern Plateau at the Great Tour Canyon. The episode starts off with Fern and Stark needing to get across this mountain cliff, but there isn't a realistic way to get across safely, so the detour to get around it would take about 2 weeks. However, Frieren remembers there was a bridge being made by the Dwarf, Gehin, that took him 2 centuries to complete. The strange thing is, something as useful as this bridge should be a popular spot for transporting, but it isn't well known, and as Gehin gets ready to explain why, the why appears. Frieren almost gets blown off the bridge, but Fern's quick reaction of her pew-pews is just too OP. That is one little change up the anime did to provide a tense moment of fear for the audience. While in the manga, the birds were blowing off at a whole lot of nothing. It also omitted the flashback scene of the merchants being blown away as they were seeking out the Golden Land, which was actually a really dark moment because 3,000 meters to their doom. As we can see in these panels here, it was Frieren that actually took down those birds, but the anime is sneakily building some qualities about Fern this episode that doesn't really become a problem until the Foundation Festival arc, where she becomes bloodthirsty, angry Fern. We now know from the previous episode why Frieren accepts rewards, and if it's magic related, she's willing to give up her whole body. I mean, who wouldn't? She accepts the reward to put their lives on the line for a spell that allows them to flip pancakes perfectly. But Fern isn't too happy, which is a nice comedic touch added in the anime. It even improved upon the mini Frieren montage, as Abe Tsukasa just has them plainly walking, while everyone gets sweaty from our fear heights, walking on a narrow passageway. This is where we get a Heroes Party's flashback of why Gehin built the bridge in the first place. His village got attacked by demons, and if a bridge existed, many lives could have been saved. Himmel then offers the reward he received from some rich noble back in episode 30 or chapter 64. The references in this episode isn't just to continue the reward motif to not make others feel indebted, but continuously bridging one of the biggest character dilemmas in Macht. If you remember what chapter 64 was all about, it was about retrieving this sword that only demons felt some kind of affinity for that humans can't perceive, that they were constantly putting their lives on the line to steal. As we know early on from the Demon Anya Forger arc, that demons and humans are biologically different. It is one of the core components of what the Golden Land storyline is all about. Up until this point, it is something the audience has been questioning about. Why humans and demons differ so much? Can they coexist? After Himmel tells Gehin that Frieren will accept the reward in the future as the equivalent exchange, we get another bonus montage that shows all of Gehin's hard work and how his village buddies helped out, which was an even bigger reveal in the manga at the end. when he decides that after 2 centuries of building this bridge, your boy is going to live peacefully with the homies. Before that, we get a quick battle with the but is no match for lightning strike. The chapter 79 adaptation ends with Frieren's party saying goodbye to Gehen. But the animation before that, we get to see how important it is to show the community coming together, as Frieren and Fern speak with the folks of the town, as Stark continues to play Big Brother. This now begins the chapter 80 adaptation of Holy Snow Crystals, as it is still 30 years after the death of Himmel the Hero in the northern plateau at Small Snowfield. Instead of going with the manga where they are in the middle of plain snow, the anime opted for a camping location.
We're bloodthirsty.
Angry Fern is scolding the degenerate magic collector for using up almost all of their funds. Once again, Abe Tsukasa, from time to time, gives us some vanilla imagery, while the animators spice it up a bit as she flies in the air to point out a place where they can earn some funds. It's not a village, but a place for adventurers seeking out the Holy Snow Crystals. What are those? They make magical potions kind of like this. It's not really the minerals they are going to mine to make them earn money, but something else like securing the area around the mineral veins, so they can be mined. Like those mana absorbing crystals, it's not something you can easily mine as like an infinite money glitch, which makes them so expensive. So it's another side quest. There are some more visual differences in delivery between the two mediums, but it's NPC related, so I doubt anyone cares that much. The cost to buy items here is 10 times the usual amount, as everyone is selling to wealthy adventurers. Up next is the actual quest. They must clear a particular area of monsters and put up a barrier to prevent humans from entering. Fern questions why they need to put up a barrier to prevent people from entering, and Frieren assumes that it is likely to give people time to gather the amount of resources necessary to take on the mining. Here comes another mini montage where the animators blow it out of the snow as Stark is pulling a craft the monk and Fern shows her clumsy side. There it is, a demon doggy. Not gonna lie, the doggy monster in the manga is cuter. It's time to put that budget to work, but first things first, send in the guy that can tank fights from dragons. Psych! Frieren goes first this time with a pew pew. Stark tries to lightning strike it, but gets hind kicked. And there goes another monster trying to eat Stark, but it senses anger and jumps away. Frieren and Fern keep missing their pew pews because the monster can detect their mana, as Stark plays with Sir Wolfenstein. Frieren gives the signal like that one time he ran away to get chased, as Frieren protects him with a mana shield, as we get to see the wolf get ferned one last time this season from very, very, very far away. Would you look at that? We got all this just from one action panel. The anime gives an extended scene that shows that there are far more than one monster as they get surrounded, but who comes to aid them? The Chivalric Order of Norn. One of the biggest surprises that includes this entire season is more flashes of the Chivalric Order of Norn being utilized more, even if they showed up randomly. The added scene just further emphasized the reward system of people not feeling indebted to each other. As Fern wakes up the sleepy degenerate, she takes her to go see the beautiful holy snow crystals glistening from the morning sun, which sparks a hero's party flashback. They are all in awe of nature's beauty. Before, they were in an era that included being near where demons roam freely. Now, many more people appreciate the beauty of life, represented by these crystals. However, humans will soon mine it, except that isn't what is going to happen. The barrier was actually to protect and preserve the vein. It's the kind of beauty that inspires adventurers like himself. So that inspiration itself from just being there is what is more valuable. Before the credits roll, here we get some filler of Fern and Stark reflecting on their adventure so far and being appreciative of how they got here from those that made sacrifices to allow them to grow old, like Big Brother Stoltz and Heither. It even showed that Fern still carries around that one picture of her family from the southern lands. Stark tells Fern she is always encouraging him and asks him why. Of course, it's because that is something that Frieren would do. Putting a cap onto the meaning of the importance of legacy. As the credits finally roll, we get some more added scenes like Frieren mismanaging their money again. But in the anime, Fern is prepared. She be hiding money from Frieren, which leads to head pats. She even copies Frieren's. All the images shown in the credits are reflective of what previously happened this season. And Frieren, Fern, and Stark leave in a similar way like in season 1. But the end of season 2 has something big to introduce, and that is what's happening in the Golden Land arc. The anime moved the end of chapter 77 that introduced Denken's hometown and Macht of the Golden Land. Here, Edel transfers her memories over to Denken, as he now becomes the keeper of the barrier that is sealing the Golden Land, along with Macht. I broke down this entire scene in the last episode breakdown, so please go check out that video. The anime didn't do anything too different from what the manga showed, besides the fact that the anime wants to make Macht a lot more mysterious to build that tension. So this begins the story of a fairy tale like hero in Denken, ready to take on the last and strongest of the 7 demon sages of destruction, Ogonkyo no Mahato.